Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, welcome to New Life Live, and we have in studio today two quite professional, quite brilliant PhD doctors of psychology, Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton. Hi, guys.
And I'll have to add, quite lovely looking at Jill. Oh, my.
Jill is a person who understands color and all of that, and it's always...
And I love color, and I love fall. Yeah. It's my season.
Yeah, me too. I do too. Well, if you want to join us on the program, 1-800-229-3000, or you could join us on the YouTube channel, New Life Live YouTube. Watch what's going on there. You could see the color that she has on right there today in the studio. 1-800-229-3000. Before we go to calls, I need to tell you about three things. The first thing is, if you would like to know 5 irrefutable truths that could transform your life, you just go to newlife.com and download them. And there they are. And then you can tell us if you think it's true. First of all, do you think they're irrefutable, that they're absolutely true under any circumstance? And secondly, could you find one or two that could do something transformational in your life? That's the first thing. Second thing is, we have 4 books. First, we have Dave Stoops' last book, Living Strong and Finishing Well, and the last book he and I did together, The Soul of a Hero. And then the first 2 books from our Understanding and Loving Your Child series, one for ADHD and one for the child that smokes pot. So there are 4 books, all 4. Alice is holding one up. All 4 of those books, you can get 10% off and free shipping. So the free shipping, big deal, all right? And then the third thing is, we talked about this yesterday, the Ultimate Writers Conference with Jerry Jenkins and all sorts of, Lee Strobel, myself, a lot of amazing best-selling authors is going to occur in March. But the organization that's doing it, I talked with him this past weekend because I wasn't here when they started the early bird special. And here's what we're going to do. If you go to this website, liftable.tv/UWC, that's Ultimate Writers Conference. If you go there and then you give them the code word Steve, you can join this Ultimate Writers Conference for $99. And it is just one amazing experience. Whether you've written, you'll learn how to market better, how to write better. But here's what I think for our listening and viewing audience. I think you guys have books in you more than other people listening to other or watching other programs. And we'd like to help you get that into book form. I love to help people write books.
And Steve, did you say, is it an online conference? Is it an in-person?
Yes, it's live online.
Live online.
Yeah,
okay,
live
great.
online, and just going to be fantastic. And I'll have to get the list of all the folks that are going to be involved. But if you add up all the books that have been sold by all the people that are going to be presenting, and then there'll be some new authors who talk about how they broke through. Well, about 200 million books sold by the people that are involved there. Pretty exciting. So here's that website. It's liftable.tv/UWC. You give them the code word Steve. All right. 1-800-229-3000. We'll be here for 2 hours. We would love to talk with you. We'd love to pray with you too. But we'd love to talk with you right here and try to give you the best insight that we have, the best light from God's Word for your particular situation. What do we charge for that? Absolutely nothing. All you have to pay is attention, which sometimes is kind of hard to do. We know that. We'll be back after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Orange County, California, November 5th through the 7th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us here today. It's a beautiful, beautiful November the 2nd here in Indiana. And I hope and pray it's okay for you also. And I hope you all survived Halloween. What an interesting time. It can be fun. It can be scary. I hope it was just pure fun for everybody.
I had a great weekend. It was really fun.
You have your soup party. How'd
Yes,
it go?
I had a soup party. It was just great. It was great. And people came in costumes. And then all the little kids, the trick-or-treaters. I love it. And meeting my neighbors, it's great.
Well, that's, I have to admit
Sorry
something to you. I have to admit
What?
something to you. That I like trick-or-treating with the kids. I didn't go this year because they're older.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun looking in people's homes and seeing, Yeah.
Oh, you're one of those looky-loos. I had a few of those going,
Yeah.
ooh.
It's so fascinating. It is so fascinating. All right,
But-
well, let's go to Tim. You guys plug in Tim. They're Louisville,
Okay.
Kentucky, and he watches us on YouTube. Hey, Tim, how are you today? What's going on?
Well, a lot of things, really.
Well, let's take one,
And
Tim.
The main thing is I had my fiancé murdered in front of me. She was pregnant, and it was around Halloween, so I'm obviously naturally triggered with that.
How long ago was
Wow.
that, Tim? That's horrible. How long ago was that?
As crazy as it sounds, 2000. I was 16. She was 15. We had the full blessing of the parents to get married.
Okay. And Tim, before you go on, because you're really emotional about this, and we're really sorry that happened. What have you done? I mean, there's few things more traumatic than seeing someone murdered right in front of you. Mm-hmm. What have you done to have somebody help you with something that severe?
I've tried with the local, because I dropped disability and I'm on Medicaid. I've tried to find counselors, but no one's willing to help me deal with it.
Okay, now wait a second. Okay, now we really want to help you here. So it's really hard for me to believe. I mean, just you telling this story to us, we want to help. Now, it's hard for me to believe that people don't want to help you. What would be a reason that they wouldn't want to help you?
Partially because of the severity of what I went through. Because my fiancée at the time, was the daughter of the predators that abused me and her.
She was what? What was she?
The daughter of the abuser.
The daughter of the person who murdered her?
The person who murdered her was also forcing me and her to have unprotected sex while he recorded it.
Okay. So, so what happened to those people when all of when the murder occurred? What happened to those people?
I believe he did prison time for the child pornography, but murder was ruled a suicide, and it slipped under police radar due to my repression of memories.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to
this
suggest
past
for
year.
you. I'm going to suggest this to you. Now, where do you live?
Louisville, Kentucky.
In Kentucky. Okay, Louisville. You know, there are some really great places in Louisville that will help people, and they won't charge you, and maybe we can find. But the first thing someone has to do who's been through something that severe so long ago, the first thing is that you have to get the right psychiatrist to get you on the right medication so that you're really dealing, you know, kind of levelly with reality and dealing with all of the things that go with that. And then you can go and work with a trauma specialist that can help you. Jill, you want to talk about that?
Right. So Tim, as a therapist and as someone who's been in the field a long time, we have heard just about everything. So while your case is horrific because of the human suffering and the cruelty, right, it's not beyond what many therapists have heard or dealt with. And it's not even the content that people decide to take a case on, right? It's the impact on you that determines the need for the work, right? This has impacted you greatly. So regardless of what happened, right, we're not judging what happened. We're looking at you are suffering. You have been traumatized. You're having an anniversary reaction and reliving this. And in addition to, you know, losing someone that was probably a first love for you, there was also abuse involved. And people that took advantage of you and your fiancé for their own benefit, either pleasure or profit. And that's something that you've had to carry around, and I'm so sorry. You know, the field has come a long way in looking at trauma and really realizing the trauma reactions that people have. They are definitely an overreaction often in situations, and that's sometimes why people that are untrained are put off by it, because it might seem disproportionate to what's happening in the present, but it's because you're not just dealing with the present, you're dealing with the past and all the years of trying to bury that and that suffering. I think EMDR, would somebody who is certified in EMDR would be a good place for you to begin. There are trauma groups that you can become a part of. There are so many resources. There's no reason for you to suffer like you are.
Tim, you locked in some beliefs at the time of the trauma that no one wants to help me, no one is able or willing to help me because the people that should have, the law, did not come through for you. So there is some truth to your belief, especially in history. There was great truth to that. And I would suspect that because that has been true for you, it holds you back a lot of the time from seeking more help and from knocking on doors until you get the help. But we do have to be that squeaky wheel because therapists aren't available. Therapist caseloads are full. Maybe they don't take your insurance. And every time you hit up against another one of those barriers, your belief for you is verified. See, nobody wants to help me. No one is able to help me. But for some reason, you are courageously breaking through that today by calling us. And so we're going to take up your cause and we're going to connect you with a therapist within our network of counselors who's certified in trauma and can help break through these maladaptive beliefs that have been hardwired into your brain. Your case is not hopeless.
No. And I just can't imagine that kind of pain and then the isolation. You have all these people around you, but you feel so alone. No one would understand. And probably a lot of people just thinking, well, we got to get on with life and all this really horribly naive, superficial kind of stuff. But here's the thing. It is not too late, to do the things that you can do to live free of this kind of pain and trauma. Now, one of the cool things about our brains is that you could have all these pathways for a very, very long time, and you start doing some things differently, maybe even getting the right kind of medication, maybe you eat differently, you think differently, you deal with some things, get them resolved, and then boom, things start to change. There's another thing, Romans 12:2 says that God wants to transform you by changing the way you think. Now, we need to do all we can to find things to think about. Like the Bible says, think on things that are true and pure. But that Bible also, that verse says, let God transform you by changing the way you think. So God wants to do a supernatural work inside of you through the Holy Spirit to change the way you think. And when you put all of that together, you can find this place we call being weller than well. You really can.
Well, and Steve, yes. And Steve, there's no way to erase what has happened to us in life, right?
No.
But what we want to do is take the emotional charge out of it, to take, to kind of shift it from being something that we are completely organized around, and that is our identity, to it's a part of our story. It's a chapter in our lives that had a huge impact, but there are new chapters to be had, and there is good to add into life that helps to minimize and push to the background the bad that happened.
And you said something so important for people to hear, whether you have anything like this going on or not. But you talked about a life being organized around this particular pain or whatever. You can be in recovery, but your life is still organized around the drinking days and what you're overcoming. You could, you could go through divorce recovery, but still your whole life gets organized around that divorce and all of the pain and everything. And so it's a great moment for all of us to just stop and think about, is my life organized around what God wants for me and the truth that God has provided to me, the relationships that are meaningful to me? Is that what I'm organized around? Or is it something that's preventing me from even experiencing God's love and presence? I think it's really common. And one of the things, it can be a good thing too. Like a mother can be so organized around the children, and then the husband or the mother that's working, they get so organized around the work that they do. There's no time for relationships.
So it's thinking about, what do we make our identity, right? Yeah. What is our identity? Right. And our identity should be diversified, really, right? Our identity should be in Christ, and then we should have a whole array of things that are representations of us.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just, we're not just one thing. And you're right, Steve, a lot of moms, because it takes a lot, right? You do, when your kids are young, have to organize. And then when they get older, they sometimes even require more, it seems, right?
Oh, is that ever true?
And different.
Which is a blessing, because who doesn't want those older kids calling and saying, hey, what about this?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, yeah, but then, and so I think for a lot of moms, and I'm certainly in the stage of launching my kids, is that we don't talk enough about how you have to kind of, move on from that. You have to grieve that. There is a time of grieving. And with all these things, there's a time of grieving. And then we put it into its proper perspective.
Yeah.
And Jill, as you say, our identity needs to be diversified. We need to spread out the activities of our life. We also need to spread out the support team and the people from whom we get help.
Yes.
Because Tim's question really hits on this. It is hard to find and hold on to good help. And therapists come and go. And even the personal supports in our life are not always available to be there for us. And we can feel like no one wants to help me. But we need to take responsibility for growing a support team so that when one part of it is not available, which will inevitably happen, we've got 3, 4, 5 more avenues through which we can go to access the help we need at the time.
Well, when I was out at Saddleback 2 weekends ago, filling in for Rick Warren, which is one of the greatest thrills and privileges ever. My 6th point, everyone needs a we. And one of the problems with trauma is you start to separate out, withdraw from people. You need community. You need a we, especially the church. And when the church doesn't understand these things, then you feel alienated. But we're making progress, great progress. 1-800-229-3000.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are definitely back. Really glad that you're with us here. And, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you feel like maybe this whole thing about trauma is one of the things that causes me a problem. And because I had a little traumatic thing, and somebody said to me, like Dr. Sherry Keffer, you ought to go have that treated with a trauma specialist. And I did, and I'm telling you, it was astounding, the difference. Can't you notice the difference, Jill? Alice?
You're nicer to be around.
Yeah.
Steve.
Thank you so much. All righty then. Okay, so, hey, listen, any amount of a gift, I want to send you our 2022 wall calendar with semi to completely beautiful pictures on there. And it's got all the stuff taken by a New Life staff member or somebody in the New Life family out there taking these photos. And then you've got our schedule on there and all the cool things. So please, if you can support us, we'll send you that calendar. Or we could even still send you one of Dave Stoops' great last books there. All right, I'm going to let you guys pick one of the callers there.
Looks like we've got Steve.
All right, let's go to Steve. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
And Steve,
I'm doing good, I guess.
You're calling from where?
South Carolina.
South
I'm a
Carolina.
truck driver, so I'm all over the place.
Okay.
All right, well, how could we help, Steve?
Well, I committed a sexual immorality, and I was married, and now my wife wants a divorce, and she don't think that there's no way we can work it out because she's pretty mad at me.
What did you do? What was the nature of it?
It was doing something I shouldn't have been doing without her knowing, and she caught me.
What was it? Can you just, in general, tell us what we're talking about here?
Masturbation.
Okay. So you were using pornography, or not?
No, it was just in.
Were you with another person?
Out of my mind.
Oh, just in your
No,
mind?
it was just. Yeah, it was. Well, it was in the middle of doing, like I told you.
So
but there was nobody else involved, just me, and I was thinking of her at the time, so because it's just something I shouldn't have done.
And so I'm thinking that if that is what she would say is unforgivable, there must have been other things that were bothering her. Is that true?
Yeah, she says I ain't been very emotional or romantic to her, so we haven't really been hitting it off as far as the fun part of being married goes.
And do you have any sense of why you wouldn't be pursuing her intimately, sexually? Any thoughts on that?
Well, we just two total opposite people. I guess we got married at the spur of the moment, and as far as I know, I don't know. We just didn't connect very well there towards you.
Well, I got to tell you,
it was all good.
Yeah, but there are more people that discover they have no idea who they're married to after they get married at some point, then it's just all good and working together. The question is what we can do about it. I've got a suggestion, but I want to hear from Jill first, and then
Steve, how long have you been married?
4 years.
4 years. Is this a first marriage?
No, this is actually number 4, and it's her 5th.
Okay.
So evidently, I ain't very good at it, so.
Well, I'm wondering, since it's been multiple times for both of you, I'm wondering if you have a similar issue. Some people, instead of dating and vetting a person and really getting to know them, they just marry them, right? Because in the beginning, when the hormones are going, it just feels great. What could go wrong, right? And especially if you've come out of a situation that didn't feel so good and this person just feels great, right? So there's a little bit of seeing things only in terms of what is in front of you at that moment, right? It's kind of like seeing.
Well, see,
Go ahead.
I'm a whole lot more sexually active than she is, and.
Okay.
But not toward her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, towards her, but it's like pretty much it's either when she's ready and that's it. There ain't no other ifs, ands, buts about it.
Okay, so do you understand, Steve, how women relate sexually?
Well, not really, or I wouldn't have been married 4 times.
That's right.
Good answer,
So,
Steve.
yeah, good answer. So, yeah, because if you're just approaching sex from a man's perspective, you're going to just leave your wife in the dust, and she's not going to feel very special or connected to you, and you know what? Then she's going to lose interest in that.
And I think, Steve, that you put a lot of energy into pursuing sexuality, but not a lot of energy into pursuing her heart and her mind. But we can help you with that. Nobody's naturally good at relationship. We all have to learn to get good at it. Now
and nobody has been worse at it than me. And I had to go to work on that.
I don't know. I'll give you a toss-up on that.
Yeah, I don't know, Steve. The battle of the Steves. I think that I'm with the caller.
But I had to work really hard when you're willing.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with two PhDs, Dr. Jill Hubbard, Dr. Alice Benton. We're talking to Steve. Steve, I'm going to cut to the chase. You ready to hear it?
Yes, I am.
Here's your best chance of saving your marriage and never having to marry again, and being absolutely thrilled that you're married to her, and her being thrilled she's married to you. This is your best chance. You ready? Okay, here you go.
Yes.
Now, I would go to her and I would say this: I totally understand why you would want to divorce me. I'm not very good at being a husband. I would like you, if you would, before you walk out the door, be willing to do something with me so you could say to everybody else, in that situation with him, I did everything I could do to make it work. And ask her to come with you to our marriage intensive. It's in Orange County, and it's in February. And if she will say yes, you tell her, we have our scholar. Because I got through to the show one day. We got through. It's paid for. You know, the scholarship is for the, you'll have to get here and all that stuff. But you tell her, we've got an opportunity to go to something. And even if you don't want to stay married to me, it's going to help you with whatever future you have, because people leave with insight about themselves that they didn't have.
Right.
Now,
well,
really,
and I would say, this is something that I realize I have never done before between all of my marriages. I just keep looking for the next person instead of working with the person that I have and doing everything I can to grow myself. And I'd love you to join me in that journey.
And you don't have to go, you tell her, you don't have to go thinking it's going to keep us together. just go, because it would be a great benefit to both of us to do this no matter what happens. Now, do you know that I have never told anybody or given that advice that got a divorce? How about that?
It's nice.
Yeah, and so wouldn't it be silly? Okay,
Sure.
wait just a second. It wouldn't be silly for someone to say no to that after she's been married, what, 3 times, and you 4?
Five.
Yeah.
This is number 5 for her.
Number 5.
I'm her 5th.
Okay, so wouldn't that be silly?
And she's my 4th. So
wouldn't that be silly for you guys not to do something radically different than you've ever done before? So I'm hoping you will. Now, you had something else you wanted to say.
Yeah. Now, if I've been trying to be a Christian, and I go to a church that she will never go to because she thinks we're all hypocrites. But she'll go to one of hers, and I've tried going to hers, but it's just not the way I was raised up.
Well,
and she won't try the one I was raised up in, but I tried going to several of hers that she tried to get us to go to. But
Steve, if you really
she
want
won't
to
try to go with the one that I want.
Steve, I'm going to interrupt you. If you really want to give this a go, then you've got to take on the Christ principle of laying down your life for your wife and moving towards her preferences as much as is morally possible, because this is a last-ditch effort. And you're at the end of the rope with your marriage. And so making the sacrifice to go to the church of her preference would feed your marriage when it desperately needs to be nurtured. And I'm going to point out one other thing to you. I think that your wife may be highly critical of you, which probably backs you into a defensive corner. It surprised me that she's charging you with sexual immorality. That took me off guard. And God's great armament against a critical spouse is confession. It's beating them to the point before they can next criticize us. We move in with I'm bringing to you my confession of things I know I've been doing that have been frustrating and hurtful to you. And it takes the wind out of the critical sails. It really deflates the criticism because you are proactive and you get to it before your spouse can, and God blesses that.
Right. So leaning in, moving towards her, and being giving and sacrificial instead of kind of putting your stake down, digging your heels in and saying, well, this isn't fair, and being like siblings who are arguing over whose turn it is to give.
I'm going to send you the best book I've got on this, and Fred Stoker and I wrote it years ago. It's called Every Man's Marriage, and it's on mutual submission. It's about oneness in the marriage, and the way oneness occurs isn't dictator doormat kind of situation. It's her submitting to a man who is really focused on dying to himself because his belief in Christ is so strong. He wants to, out of reverence to Christ, die to himself and create this oneness in the marriage. And so when we do that, a lot of issues that we think are big deals, they're not big deals. How long do you sit in church? An hour. So essentially, you're saying, I'm willing to give up an hour to go to that church that I don't particularly care for. You know, most churches have Saturday and Sunday and multiple services, and so you go to hers, you can still go to another one some other time. So really would love to get you signed up, you and her. So hold on, I want to get your information, and we'll get a scholarship for you guys because I want to see what we can do to stop this multi-divorce serial marriage syndrome here. It would be a great, great honor to intervene here. Speaking of great, he's not even smiling when I say it, but Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio, and he is a great one. Larry, welcome. And what do you have for us today? I'm hoping you've got a wonderful testimony.
Well, continuation from yesterday. It's Every Man's Battle Week, and it starts Friday here in Orange County, and still time to get here no matter where you live. Here's this guy did a real brief testimony. I love this. He says, I came here expecting some hokey, overly spiritual Christian event that would merely pump me up like a camp. Instead, I got real, honest insights from real men that love Jesus, and I've made new lifelong battle partners. Guys, what could be better than that? You know, you're going to get real men, honest insights. You're going to
and no hokey pokey.
Nothing hokey, yeah. No hokey
no
pokey.
hokey, no pokey at all. That's right. Well, you know, the thing is, some of our major donors, many of our major donors, have been through every man's battle. And if it was what he said it was, that just wouldn't be the case. It wouldn't be having an impact. And I totally see why someone would think some things like that would be possible, but we have sure gone to a lot of trouble to get below, way below the surface and try to help with some of these root issues, these big hurdles. And we're going to do that this weekend. And then next weekend, we're doing Restore. Or is it next month? I forget.
No, it's next weekend.
Next weekend is Restore. So if he went to Every Man's Battle and she went to Restore and they both went to Intimacy and Marriage, it really would be hard to not see a totally different outlook on the future of your marriage.
The number of marriages that are restored, the families that are reconstructed, it's just so heartwarming. It's so wonderful. And there's a wide wave in the pool when a guy gets his act together. And women lead by example, by what you do, not what you say. And this is the chance. And folks, we need your support to keep this thing going. And it's the time of year where people are thinking about, well, what am I going to give at year end? You know, I want to have a tax deduction. And there's a lot of ways you can do it. But I hope that your heart is to give, because this ministry's changing lives. God is blessing it. The Spirit is moving right through what we do. And it makes a difference in so many lives.
It really does. And every time you hear somebody's life totally transformed, you're part of that, because you're part of the support. We've always had partnerships with support, and we're so grateful. And then you become a part of it, whether it's $5 a month or $50 a month or whatever. Club New Life's $30 a month, and you really do become part of that sustaining, giving family in Club New Life. One-time gift or Club New Life, either one.
Steve, it's not too late to join Club New Life, and then you're qualified for a Club New Life gathering on Zoom this weekend. We're going to have a real fun time. It's going to be informational, about 2 hours, maybe a few minutes over. And you can only come if you're part of Club New Life. So join up, listen to Steve and Jill talk about some memories from the past. Listen to our COO in Dallas give us a report on the changes that are happening there. I'm going to tell you how I see God's hand on this ministry. And it's going to be good. It's not a major fundraising thing. I don't want people to get scared. Oh, they're just going to ask me for money. I'm going to have one little suggestion, take about 10 seconds, and that'll be the extent of our fundraising.
Awesome. All right, so join Club New Life and join us this weekend. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you want to do that. If you want to join us right now for the final segment or the program after this, here's the number, 1-800-229-3000. Come join us.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to
fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back to talk about being live on our YouTube channel, New Life Live. There are lots of other things. There are a lot of great content there if you go to that. Just want to mention before we go to our last call on this program, but we're going to do another hour
but hang
after
on.
this at 1-800-229-3000. Mention that it's Every Man's Battle this weekend in Orange County. And we're going to do Restore November the 12th. That'll be the following weekend. And Emotional Freedom, you can sign up for that January the 22nd. And that's going to be online. That'll be a great one. Intimacy and Marriage is February the 11th in Orange County. And then on Thursday, Life Recovery Today, 11 o'clock Eastern Time on the NRB Network. Or you could just go to liferecoverytoday.net, and we're right there. All right, well, let's go to Nancy and see what she has to say. And as I said, if you're holding on, we'll get to you in this next program right after this, 1-800-229-3000. Nancy, you're on. What's going on?
Hi.
Hi there. Hi.
So my question is, my 19-year-old daughter moved in with her boyfriend, and I just want to know what I need to do as a mom, because it's a very bad relationship.
Okay, tell me what that means. What's the bad relationship piece of this?
So there's alcohol involved. There's drugs. There's also I just found out that there's also infidelity involved as well. And I also just found out that cops might be involved in all this too. And my question is, how do I help her?
Okay, why do you think she got attracted to this guy and got involved with this guy?
I think because she was lonely and she got attention from him.
Why was she so lonely in your family?
Well, she got bullied a lot in school. She,
I want you to.
My husband, he's a truck driver.
Keep going.
My husband's a truck driver, so he's not home very much at all. And I think she was very lonely, and that's what attracted her to him.
And you say that he is a drug user, right?
Yes.
And usually people that move in with drug users are drug users.
Right, and that's what happened.
And so she's using or addicted. What do you think it is? What do you think the chemical of choice is there?
Weed and smoking, cigarettes. That's all I know so far.
Okay, and so when's the last time you talked with her?
Today.
And what does she say to you?
She says, Mom, there's a lot going on. I don't want to tell you about it. I don't want you to get involved because when the cops come, I don't want you and Daddy in the middle of it.
And that's it, huh? What do you say to her?
That's it. I said to her, I just want you to know that we love you very much. There's nothing that you can do or anything that will ever stop us from loving you. We're big people. Me and your dad, we have shoulders. We can carry stuff, and we'll be praying for you. Just know that you can come to us.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask both Jill and Alice. Okay, if this was your daughter, I mean, she sounds like she's in pretty deep here. Mm-hmm. Give Nancy some words that she might say other than that, we're here and we're praying for you. Is there anything you can think of that might be helpful for that daughter to hear.
Nancy, I would want to look at two things. One, do you have any leverage? Does she rely on you for anything, especially for financial support? And what has been your husband's best attempt to intervene, protect your daughter, and to interact with her boyfriend?
So no, she doesn't. We don't have any leverage. No, they both work. So there's nothing she needs from us right now. And my husband, he has nothing to do with her boyfriend. He hasn't tried. He doesn't want nothing to do with him. He doesn't. But he does call her. He tries to see her. He's gone golfing with her. He's done a few things with her, but he doesn't want anything to do with him, he said.
Well, I'm glad that he's trying to do things with his daughter, because I think she does need more contact from him. I understand him not liking this boy who's taken his daughter off. But it's kind of that idea, of keeping your enemies close. I think getting to know him, developing some kind of relationship, then gives you a say-so in a person's life. And this is right? I mean, his hands-off approach, he's handing his daughter over by not being involved. Right?
Right.
What if this guy maybe lacks a strong male figure? What if your husband could step in and speak into this guy's life? Wouldn't that be of benefit to your daughter?
So an outlandish idea, an outlandish idea there. If you invited this couple over to your house for dinner, how would your husband respond, and would they accept the invitation?
My husband said that he doesn't want to be here if he comes here. He does not want to be here. I don't know what his response would be if I invited them over.
Well, you couldn't just invite them.
No,
You'd
you
have
have
to
to
say to him,
it's
I
a
talked
change
with
of
some,
course.
Talk with some really great psychologists today, and here's what they were thinking is better than us showing our disapproval, which they know. Maybe we could get involved with them just by having them come and have a meal with us, and it's peaceful, and we don't get in their space, but we just gain some connection with them that is just not there.
So you guys need more information, right? You want to understand so that you can help your daughter better. And so moving in closer, and you can even say to your daughter, okay, we realize, we've really pushed this boy away, but the fact that you're with him now and you're our daughter, we want to be a part of your life.
Yeah.
And so shift course here and get your husband to realize that. And it's a strategy, right? It doesn't mean that your heart is going to really fully love this boy, although it might down the road. But it's a strategy to help your daughter.
Because your fear has probably been the loudest part of your message. And I've got to admit, when you were telling us drug use and the police involved, and then later you told us pot and alcohol, we went from what sounded like a horrific situation. Now, it still is not good, but it came down to something that didn't sound quite as bad as you started. So I think your fear's speaking very loud. Make a relational attempt and see where it gets you.
Okay. So we know that passivity is not something that solves situations like this. It's engaging and with love and compassion, not shame, bitterness, resentment, disappointment. That you have to work out somewhere else. 1-800-229-3000 to join us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if you are married to a man that is struggling with sexual integrity, the greatest gift you could give him and you is to pick up the phone and say, tell me about this Every Man's Battle thing that's this weekend. Because it really is transformational. Everything we do here, we do to transform, not make people feel better. And I'm telling you, we've had men coming because they were demanded to come. They didn't want to be there, kicking and screaming, you could say. And then something good happens. Which is better, having a guy sitting at home drinking beer, watching football, or be with other men who struggle also? which is more likely to produce a change in everything for that person? Well, I think you know the answer to that.
The resources mentioned on today's program. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.